Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Pocono Raceway here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. We are here in the home state of Turkey Hill, and we are here to qualify for the 12th race of the season in the Turkey Hill Truck Series for 2024, the Pocono Mountains 200 tomorrow at noon Eastern Time right here on AG the channel. And it will be a very telling race in this championship, just like last week's race was at Dover. We had a very unique race in that one with Nathan Stapleton going to victory lane from 30th in the point standings this late in the season. Blaine Keys was not the fastest driver. This team, though, Team Velocitar, they have gone for 7 straight poles since Bristol. They have won every pole since that race. Of course, Blaine Keys won 5 in a row. The streak came to an end last week at Pocono when Ludovic Charette ended up starting on pole at that race. Blaine Keys will be the first one out here to begin qualifying for the Pocono Mountains 200 in Group A. This is a very long racetrack, so you need to get out there when you can, or otherwise you may not get a lap in. We'll have to see how that ends up shaking out as we move through here today at Pocono Raceway. But very excited for this race because this is also another racetrack where we anticipate a lot of those strong drivers finishing up front in the race. That's going to play in the Blaine Keys' favor. Blaine Keys won the Cup race here back in July. Will he be able to get the win here with an 18-point lead on Nicholas Samedeo and 23 points on Leonard Koshmer coming into this one? However, this is a very good track for Nicholas Samedeo, who will be in Group B. Excited to see what he can pull off this weekend in that 23 machine. Qualifying has been a struggle with those guys this season, however, and that has kind of held him back just a little bit. Blaine Keys is going to be the first driver to complete a lap 54.109 for Blaine right there. This is one of those tracks where you absolutely want to get a pull off of a truck in front of you. And we'll definitely see certain times come into play with drivers getting that draft ahead of the truck ahead of them. So Blaine's kind of all out there by himself right now. Not necessarily the best place to be. However, he's not too far behind Stapleton right there. And that 61 machine we know is a very fast truck. I actually would expect Stapleton and Triad Racing to have another good race here at Pocono. I think they finally turned a corner. Obviously, they finally turned a corner last week with that race win at Dover. And Blaine is pulling right up to this 61 machine right here. Watch out. He's just going to drive right by Stapleton. That's actually going to slow Blaine down just a little bit right here. However, I anticipate he is going to improve his time right here from the 54.109 that he just set. And he does 53.748 for Blaine Keys. A lot of these other drivers completing their first lap. You got the 52 there, Matthew Hubert. Caleb Rose not too far off from Blaine Keys. He's got a good pull right now with Derek Campbell and Koshmer ahead of him right there. Of course, top 3 advance on to the Fast 6 and go for the pole. And Caleb Rose currently second quickest right now on that 33 machine for Broke Boys Garage. Caleb is trying to move his way up in the standings. He's 17th right now. It's not been the best of seasons for these guys at Broke Boys Garage, but another team like Triad Racing where I think they're going to find a little bit more speed later on in the season here as things have built up a little bit more. And I think Caleb Rose is going to have a good opportunity at maybe getting a race win at some point this season. Actually, ran very well at Martinsville a couple of years ago. That's one of his best racetracks here in the Truck Series as a driver. Let's see what he can pull off. Blaine is still the quickest, but he did not improve. Well, never mind, he did improve his time right there. So he continues to get faster in the one machine. However, Caleb Rose just obliterated Blaine's time. Laura Chung in the 4, up to 3rd. A lot of these drivers getting their second laps in with all these other trucks out there on the track. We got a lot more speed between some of these drivers right here. Thomas Troxel, 46 points behind coming into this race. Currently 10th here in Group A. That would be good enough for the 19th starting position. Not exactly the best place to start. It is a 20-lap race tomorrow, however. So a little bit longer than what it used to be back in the day when it was only 15 laps here. It will be 20 laps with a cycle of pit stops, so going to be interesting to see what he can do there. Stapleton in a good position right now. He is 4th quickest here, looking to start 7th. Looking to go back-to-back here in the Truck Series. And how about Philip Torres up to 3rd in the 44 machine? And how about Nathan Stapleton going to 2nd? That might be good enough for him to maybe go for the pole. Blaine is now the driver on the bubble. He has made the Fast 6, at least since Bristol. I can't even remember what the race was before Bristol. It was Watkins Glen. I don't think he actually made the Fast 6 for Watkins Glen. And that was the last time a non-Velocity truck won the pole. That was Igor Barreto for Webb Racing Enterprises. But the Grattan Autosport teams have won the pole. They've got an 8-race streak, essentially, though Velocitar has 7 of those. But how about this? Caleb Rose, Nathan Stapleton, and Blaine Keys. Two of our fellow helping hands on the channel, I guess you can say. Caleb Rose and Nathan Stapleton. Though Nathan has found a lot more success this season. No, maybe not. Caleb's better in points. Nathan does have a win, but Caleb actually has run better overall this season, and he actually could have a good shot and maybe getting a good starting position for tomorrow's race. Excited to see what he can do there for Broke Boys Garage. Excited to see what Stapleton can do as well. But Blaine is going to probably be in that Fast 6. I think at this point the tires have worn out just a bit too much for anyone to really make any waves going into that top 3. Thomas Troxell's 10th quickest right now on the 93 machine. That is not going to cut it for Troxell, and it's over, so that's how it'll line up for Group A. Caleb Rose, Nathan Stapleton, and Blaine Keys once again in the Fast 6. He's been doing that since Bristol. That was race 5. This is race 12. That is 8 straight races Blaine Keys has been in the Fast 6, and he's looking to keep the Velocitar streak alive there and keep 8 straight poles for Team Velocitar going into this one here at Pocono. Leonard Kochmer will start 7th. Still a great starting position for Kochmer. Joe Rutkowski and Philip Torres. How about those guys at Millennium Motorsports? They have had a very, very miserable season, and especially Joe Rutkowski, who was 2nd in the points last year. In the final points, he is 31st coming into this race. They both have good starting positions on the inside lane right there, with Rutkowski starting 9th, Philip Torrey starting 11th, Matthew Hubert will start 13th, Lord Chung will start 15th, Justin Seidel will start 17th, Thomas Troxell will start 19th, Matthew Burnett will start 21st, Rogel Dorn will start 23rd, Derek Hamill will start 25th, Eric Monaco will start 27th, Skep Silver will start 29th, LJ Semeta will start 31st, Emily DeBenedetti will start 33rd, and Zachary Fitzwater will start in the 35th starting position for tomorrow's Pocono Mountains 200 here from Pocono. Let's go ahead and move on to Group B and see who joins Caleb Rose, Nathan Stapleton, and Blaine Keys in the Fast 6. And here we are for Group B from the Pocono Raceway. See who joins Caleb Rose, Nathan Stapleton, and Blaine Keys in the Fast 6. Of course, starting position will mean quite a bit for this race. However, if you have a good enough truck, you can definitely work your way through the field. And we'll have to see how that ends up shaking out. Of course, this is another place where a long-run truck will come into effect. Maybe not as much as it did at Dover. That was definitely a place where we saw certain drivers have much better long-run speed compared to others, and that did come into effect near the end of that race last week at Dover. Of course, Nathan Stapleton pulled away from everyone after Ladovic truck got stuck behind a lap truck and could not get around them. And Nathan was able to slice through those lap trucks a lot easier, and that was the difference in that race at Pocono at Dover last week. We're at Pocono now. And Roberto Crown Jr., first driver out there in the 01, 10th in the points. Past couple of races have not been the best for them, but they're definitely in their wheelhouse here. I think these faster racetracks are definitely suiting the Stover Motorsports camp a lot better this year. Roberto has taken this 01 to the top 10 in points once again. They finished top 10 in points last year as well. And definitely a very solid run for Roberto here this season in that 01 machine. You got Aaron Abel back in there, and Bruno Diacomo, who had another solid run last week in the number 3 machine. Of course, his teammate Rogel Dorn has had a much better season in the 98 for Trackhouse Racing. Duncan Ward in the 18, who has overexcelled in comparison to his teammate. Has twice as many points as Matthew Burnett there at the team that almost won the owner's title last year. The fact that these guys are as slow as they are is quite a surprise. Of course, Ladovic Charette was driving for Beacon Quantum Racing last year, and they just did not have any speed the first 11 races of the season, and it may continue for those guys, unfortunately. But Duncan Ward's definitely a good driver. I do feel like maybe the equipment isn't as good over there as it was last season. And you know, when you have a team like Velocitar that just goes out there and dominates everything everywhere, it's a bit hard to keep up with that. And it makes everyone else look a little bit less than they were before. So we got the 3 of Bruno Giacomo with the fastest time, 54.127. Our fastest time in Group A was a 53.353, set by Caleb Rose. So I was getting it pulled up there on my phone. 53.353 for Caleb in that first group. So that's kind of the benchmark. Of course, Nathan Stapleton had the fastest time last week, and that definitely ended up playing into his favor. Bruno Giacomo in the 3 is another dark horse for this one, I feel like. That 3 machine is pretty quick. Bruno's definitely finding his stride as of late in that machine, and we'll have to see if he can find himself in a good position in tomorrow's race. Still the fastest, 53.873. It's still half a second slower than what Caleb Rose had. Don't really see as many of these bigger groups right here, and that is definitely going to shake things up a little bit. You got Sam Medea right here in the number 23. This is a driver who has struggled in qualifying up to this point this season. 18 points, though, behind Blaine Key, second in the championship. Got the win in Atlanta. This is one of Sam Medea's best tracks here on the channel. He's definitely found some success here and may actually get a good lap here. Getting a bit of a pull off the 58. Now driven by Jeffrey Finguy. First career start on the channel tomorrow for Jeffrey Finguy. Gonna be fascinating to see what he can do in this ride and give it a bit of a taste of how well this team has performed this season. Nicholas Sam Medea was in the top 3 for just a second, but Ludovic Charette had other ideas right there. She is now in the top position with Logan Williams and Bruno Giacomo, the top 3. Now Sam Medea has a good shot, and Agar Barreto. This is a driver who, as of late, has qualified and run very well. Agar's done an excellent job this season in that 13 machine for Web Racing Enterprises. A lot to be happy about for Igor, even though Drew's leaving his team over on the Cup side. The fact that they've been able to work this together here in the Truck Series and have had the strong run that they have had is great to see. And how about this for Triad Racing? Once again, they are finding their stride again. Logan Williams with the fastest time here in Group B by 0.3 of a second. And he is looking to win his 3rd pole of the season. Logan finished 6th last week at Dover, very quick in that race. Of course, his teammate, Nathan Stapleton, went to victory lane in that one. And the Triad Trucks have absolutely turned a corner here, and they may actually be the strongest team in the series now. And that's a very strange thing to say, considering that they were last in the points just a couple of races ago. They may have actually come through, and they may be one of the strongest teams here going into this last third of the season. Sam Medea did not improve his time in the 23 machine, so it looks like... we'll see if he gets anything right here, but I don't think he's going to be able to get himself any further up. He did get around Jeffrey Finguy right there to move around him, but even getting around somebody... Oh, he moved up to 5th, but still, outside lane is not where Sam Medea wants to be, and that's the thing. Him being second in points this whole time has made it very difficult for him to actually get a good starting position on the inside lane in any of these races. Now, with that being said, he has finished very well in a lot of the races we have had this season. But he has not qualified well, and if he can get a good qualifying position in one of these last 6 races, go on to get another race victory, get his 30th career win on the channel, it's a very good opportunity for Nicholas Sam Medea to actually catch up to Blaine Keys, because I feel like Sam Medea actually has a better truck and a better driving style in the races this season than what Blaine has. Blaine has had the advantage of starting up front, however, in all of these races up to this point. He's going to go for it again along with his teammate of Ludovic Charette. And you want to know something, it is nearly the identical Fast 6 that we had last week. Almost identical to what we had last week. Only we're taking Caleb Rose instead of... Who was the other guy? I can't even remember who was the other guy. Leonard Kochmer. So it's Caleb Rose instead of Leonard Kochmer, but the other 5 drivers are all the same. The same Fast 6 for 5 of these guys. And you got Logan Williams, Agar Barreto, and Ludovic Charette once again making it on to that Fast 6. Bryce Egan will start 8th. Nicholas Sam Medea will start top 10 in the 10th position. Bruno Giacomo will start 12th. Aaron Abel will start 14th. Andrew Williams will start 16th. Corey Case will start in the 18th position. Jack Haas will start 20th. Andrew Miller will start 22nd. Avery Alford will start 24th. Roberto Crown Jr. will start 26th. Christian Vargas will start 28th, Brian Webb will start 30th, Jesse Turner will start 32nd, Duncan Ward will start 34th, and Jeffrey Finguy, first career start, will start in the 36th position. But first career start, going to be a little bit of a rough start for Jeffrey. Could actually get something to go his way, though, as we get later on in the season, especially with Talladega there. Talladega can be anybody's game. Going to be fascinating to see how that ends up playing out. Logan Williams, Agar Barretto, Ludovic Schredt are going to join Blaine Keys, Nathan Stablin, and Caleb Rose. Let's see who wins the pole. Fast 6 right now here from the Pocono Raceway. And here we go once again. Deja vu all over again. We got 5 of the 6 guys in this group of 6, in this Fast 6, I should say, who were in the Fast 6 last week at Pocono, both racetrack at Dover. Man, I keep doing that. You know, I associate the 2 racetracks very closely because they are my 2 home racetracks. I live, pretty much in between them, closer to Dover, but this is my home state racetrack. But they could not be any more different from one another because Dover is a oval-shaped, high-banked racetrack. This is a low-banked, triangular. There's nothing like Pocono. Nothing like Pocono. We got to be unique over here in the Keystone State. But anyways, 5 of the same 6 drivers who were in the Fast 6 last week. Ludovic Schredt actually won the pole last week at Dover. She's 177 miles per hour across the line. Going to take a lot longer to get around here today than it did last week at the Dover Motor Speedway. So we'll be here a little bit longer today compared to last week. And this racetrack is all about the speed down the straightaways and how much you can carry on the straightaways. Of course, corner speed is also very important, but corner speed does correlate to that straightaway speed. Going to minimize a 146 there, a 148 through the tunnel turn. And being able to pick that speed back up on the straightaways is vitally important. This is the slowest corner right here. And Ludovic slows it down to 128. And she's going to pick it back up there throughout that very long and winding corner. We're not going to see times comparable, of course, with that first lap being a little bit slower because they're getting up to speed, but a 54.152 is a solid time, and we'll have to see how that compares to the other 5 drivers here in this qualifying session. And here he is, Blaine Keys. Going to have to start a new Grimace streak today. At 5 straight poles from Michigan through to IRP, lost the pole and actually started 5th last week at Dover and finished there as well. And for his standard, that was not a good race. But nonetheless, he is still the points leader by 18 points ahead of Nicholas Samedeo, and regardless of where he qualifies here in this Fast 6, he will start ahead of Samedeo tomorrow. But will he finish ahead of him? That is the big question, and Blaine is going to have a lot of work to do if he doesn't start on the pole, or nonetheless on the inside lane, because that initial jump there, that outside lane, tends to fall back. And Blaine's got to be careful not to get sworn back mid-pack and have a bad pit stop, which has been a bit of an issue for this team so far this season. But coming across the line for Blaine Keys, of course, first he's got to beat his teammate, and a little bit slower across the line than what Ludovic had. Of course, Ludovic Schredt, 54.152. She's finally coming back into fruition. They actually could have won last week at Dover, but Nathan Stablin had other ideas right there. About 155 right there through the corner. Actually had to check up midway through just a little bit and slow down mid-corner, which I don't think is going to help his momentum down the Long Pond straightaway too much right here. Going to maximize at 180 down the Long Pond straightaway. Hit about 148, about the same similar mile per hour to Ludovic Schredt right here. And Ludovic hit 128 as a minimum there going into turn number 3. Blaine is going to go, ooh, that was some good speed there going in. Going to pick up a lot better on the second half of this lap, and he may actually have a shot at getting ahead of Blaine, or Ludovic Schredt right here. And this could actually be for the pole as well, considering how these guys have done it this season. Cross the line, it's not 54.219, so once again, Blaine Keys will not win the pole. Ludovic is still quicker in the number 2, 54.219 for Blaine Keys and Team Velocestar. And next in line, we're getting all the Grattan-affiliated trucks out of the way first, and then the Triad Broke Boys Garage trio ends up going forward here. The Triad trucks and Caleb Rose all faster than any of the Grattan trucks here. And, we'll get the Triad racing when those guys get out here in just a moment. But Agar Barretto, in the 13 for Webb Racing Enterprises, got the win at Watkins Glen. Had a great run last week at Dover. is 6th in the championship standings. And, you know, if things go a little kooky in these last 7 races, he could actually have a shot at the title. Very solid year for Igor Barretto. Maybe the Grattan Alliance helped him out a little bit, but Igor, a great driver. He has taken to the ratings very well. Of course, won the championship as an owner with Drew Webb last year in the Wall Wall Cup Series, and has 2 wins in the ratings era of the Turkey Hill Truck Series as well, and that is nothing to be shy about, because you win a race in the Truck Series, especially this season, you are definitely a good driver, because so far everyone who has won a race this season is a driver who has proven themselves before, either as an owner or a driver in a rating series, and all these guys have had an excellent run, at least those who have gone to victory lane this season. Igor Barretto might not necessarily have the pace as Blaine or Ladovic, but anything is possible right here. He's not going to hit 180 going into the tunnel turn, however, so not as much speed going in there as the Velocitar trucks did. But if he can carry some good speed here in turn number 3, might have an opportunity and maybe get something to go his way. He just barely tapped 129. Whereas Ladovic actually slowed in a little bit more than Blaine did and still was faster than the one machine. We'll see what Igor can do right here. Will the Velocitar streak end today? That's the big question. There are 4 trucks to do it. It's not going to be Igor, who's going to go 3rd quickest at a 54.369. So it's the Triad Trucks and Caleb Rose who are looking to end the Team Velocitar pole streak here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. We'll see if any of them can do it here in these next 3 tries. And here he is, the big staple. Last week's winner at the Dover Motor Speedway, and a good opportunity to go 2 in a row here. It's 2 fast 6 sessions in a row for Stapleton, and 2 double fast 6 sessions for Triad Racing in a row as well. And they have definitely found their speed. It's going to be fascinating when we get to Iowa next week, though, and really see if that speed continues on for Triad Racing. Going from 2 speedways to a short track, though Iowa is a very quick short track. Nathan Stapleton actually won at Iowa in the Truck Series 2 weeks ago, two years ago. I mean, even though it feels like it was 2 weeks ago, it was 2 years ago. Merry Christmas, everybody. So we'll have to see what Stapleton can do right here. Was 3rd quickest last week at Dover, started in the 3rd position and ended up winning the race. If he starts 1st or 3rd again, he could actually go back-to-back here. 27th in points, however, for Stapleton coming into this one. Not exactly where he was hoping to be, and this is a team that I feel like if they had a much better first 2/3 of the season, they would be in championship contention, but they're way too far back at this point for that to really be the case. Well, he's kind of washing it up the track right there. I don't think this is going to quite match Ladovic's time, but nonetheless, it'll still be another great starting position for Nathan. Though he's got some hefty speed going into the tunnel turn right there. 183. Igor Barretto didn't even hit 180, and he was only 2/10 off. So maybe washing it up the track was a good idea for Nathan right there. He barely hit 120. He got right back in the gas, though, and he might actually have a shot here at getting to the 2 and ending this streak that Team Velocitar has set in qualifying. We'll see if that ends up being the case across the line. Not enough. Just below Blaine Key's 54.230 for Nathan Stapleton. That is 3rd quickest. 2 drivers left. It's Logan Williams and Caleb Rose. And Logan Williams looking for his 3rd pole of the season. Very quick in Group B. Very quick all around. I mean, just the worst luck imaginable for this team. Though Logan's actually kind of peeking back in there. He's knocking on the door of the top 20 in points. And, you know, if he keeps it going, he could find himself top 10 in points by the end of the season. It's a very good opportunity. This is a team, Triad Racing, who I thought was the biggest threat to the Grattan Alliance this season. Of course, Evans Ross Racing has kind of been that team, but Triad was the other team I thought that they were absolutely going to fight for it. And, you know, they showed that speed last week at Dover, but that was the first time we have really seen these drivers at Triad Racing really take the best of their equipment to the racetrack. So we'll have to see if Logan can in fact beat Ladovic Schrader, Blaine Keys, or will it be a Velocitar lockout up front. Of course, when you have 2 of the best drivers on the channel on your team, I mean, it's no surprise they've been able to do what they have done in qualifying. But I think, especially in Ladovic's case, they expected a little bit more this season in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Yikes. That is not how it goes right there for Logan Williams. Very slow through turn 1. Just did not quite have the speed right there And I actually genuinely think that Nathan's got the stronger truck at that team compared to Logan Williams so far this season. Logan has struggled a little bit right here. Even though he has qualified better in certain instances, not going to be the case for Logan right here. This is easily going to be the slowest time that we have seen so far. That was not a good lap. And he's washing it up in turn 3 a little bit higher than some of these other drivers have. But nonetheless, he'll still start top 6. Across the line for Logan Williams, going to be a 54.811. That was a half-second slower than everybody else. Not exactly what Logan wanted, but it is what Ludovic wanted, and all he's got now, all she's got now is Caleb Rose in her way for this pole here at the Pocono Raceway. Let's see how Caleb does here. Last driver out here in qualifying for the Pocono Mountains 200. And here he is, the right-hand man of the channel, Caleb Rose in the 33. Has not had as much success as a driver, though he does a wonderful job with the Lenovo Pro Series, and very exciting series that we've got going on over there. Just had the 12th race of the season. This past Friday right here at, this past Wednesday, right here at the Pocono Raceway. No, who won it yet? It's the fun thing about it for me. I have no clue what's going on over there. All I know is that we stopped the burners, at least we think we did. And we got some cool dudes that are in that race. Anthony Hernandez, I heard, has a history in other places. So we'll see what he does. We'll see how that all goes down over there. All right, enough about that. Caleb Rose going to try to get to Ludovic Charette's time. It's going to be a tall order right here. 54.152. Will the speed be there in the Broke Boys Garage machine, or will they be broke? That's the big question. Yeah, not quite. Not quite. You were seeing those 158s as minimums there between Ludovic, Blaine, and Stapleton, and Caleb just did not quite have that. So for the 2nd straight week, it's going to be Ludovic Charette. For the 8th straight week, it's going to be Celsius Team Velocistar. Starting on the pole, they're going to lock out the front row here at Pocono Raceway, but that's not good for Blaine, who's going to start on the outside lane tomorrow. Not quite the run that Blaine was expecting, that is for sure. But Nathan Stapleton once again starting in the 3rd position on the inside lane. There seems to be a lot of speed in that 61 machine, and it's going to be a good opportunity for him. 3.57 is actually good enough for 4th for Caleb Rose, so Igor Beretta will start in the 5th position, and Logan Williams will start 6th. Let's go ahead, debrief, and show you guys the starting lineup for the Pocono Mountains 200 here from Pocono. And there you have it. It continues for Celsius Team Velocistar. That's their 8th straight pole as a team. Quite amazing what they've been able to do, but it's Ludovic Charette once again. 2nd straight pole for Ludovic alongside Blaine Keys. They're locking out the front row of that team. Nathan Stapleton and Caleb Rose make up row number 2. Igor Beretta, Logan Williams make up row number 3. They got Leonard Kochmer to the inside of Bryce Egan in row 4. Joe Rutkowski and Nicholas Sambidio in row 5. Philip Torres and Bruno Diacomo in row 6. Matthew Hubert and Aaron Abel in row 7. Lord Chung and Andrew Williams in row 8. Justin Zidell, Corey Case in row 9. Thomas Troxel, Jack Collins in row 10. Matthew Burnett and Andrew Miller in row 11. Rogaldor and Avery Alford in row 12. Derek Campbell, Roberto Crown Jr. row 13. Eric Monaco, Christian Vargas in row 14. Skep Silver, Brian Webb in row 15. LJ Cemento, Jesse Turner in row 16. Emily DeBenedetti and Duncan Ward in row 18. Zachary Fitzwater and Jeffrey Finguy in row 18. Tomorrow, noon Eastern Time, right here on AG the channel. It's the 12th race of the season, the Pocono Mountains 200. Will it be a Velocistar truck, or will it be somebody else? Velocistar's not won since Charlotte, which was 3 weeks ago. So, you know, that's been a while since they've been the victory. I think we've had Rogel, Dorn, Jack Oz, and Nathan Stapleton as the last 3 winners. And, you know, let's put it this way, you know, none of those guys were really competing like the dominant trucks up to this point, especially Stapleton from last week. So it's going to be fascinating to see if Velocistar can hold on and win, or if Nathan Stapleton, Igor Beretta might have something to say about it. We'll also watch out for Leonard Kochmer starting 7th tomorrow as well. That's going to be big for Kochmer. That's a great starting position for the Evans Ross Racing driver. All right, thank you guys so much for watching once again. We'll see you guys tomorrow noon Eastern Time right here on AG the channel for the Pocono Mountains 200. And congratulations to Ludovic Charette on her pole here from the Pocono Raceway. I will see you guys later.